I do not have time to address the noise. My silence does not mean that I am complacent. My silence does not mean that somehow Turning Point USA and all of the handpicked staff that loved my husband and my husband loved them is somehow in on it. We are busy building. And you know what I thought? I thought these people are human. We are all grieving in our own way. And they are trying to find the answer to something that happened that was so evil. They are trying so hard. And I get that. We're doing the same. Anytime we hear a lead or anytime we hear anything, we send it to the authorities. Please dig into this. No rock will be unturned. I want justice for my husband, for myself, for my family, more than anyone else out there. So for me, you want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that. But here's my breaking point on that. Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole. Whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
Damn. I believe this clip alone makes Erica Kirk guilty. Let me explain. Okay, when you're silent after somebody gets murdered in front of the world and everybody has questions of so many suspicious things that happened that particular day, and the wife or family members of Charlie Kirk, we know who we're talking about, Charlie Kirk, we're asking questions. The American people want updates. What the hell happened? We're not waiting for JFK files. We're not waiting for MLK files. We're not waiting for the Charlie Kirk files. We need to be updated in knowing who we can trust in our government. If the FBI is telling us one thing and it's clearly not the case, when we have video proof in different angles, they quickly went in there and tried to get all the evidence and information they could quickly to shut all the questions up. But it didn't work. When you have students that were there that were recording and we get different angles, different questions, okay, what's going on here? What's happening here? Erica Kirk, she's been silent long enough. Now, what's her reasoning on being silent? That's what I want to know. I want to know what was the purpose of being silent. Now, if you're finding information, great. You're sharing it with the authorities that are giving the American people false information. I don't see that as great. I see that you're feeding them information that they're just throwing in the trash and just give you, hey, we're working on it. We're looking into it. We're going to come back to you. That's the type of crap that they're going to do. But for Erica Kirk to come out here and then start saying, without saying, accusing Candace Owens on asking these questions to figure out what's going on, when you're not coming out yourself to at least let the American people know who have witnessed your husband get killed, why the hell can't Erica Kirk come out and start speaking on it? We want to know. The American people want to know. It's not too much to ask. If someone murdered me and my wife grieved, kept silent, understood, I would not expect her to quickly take over my company that I built. Have somebody on standby to take over the company, the operations of it. Erica Kirk, my wife, whatever, continue to mourn for me until she was ready to speak and ask questions about what happened that day. Charlie Kirk did not die of natural causes. Everybody is looking at this whole situation as he died naturally. He got murdered. And you're going to sit here and tell me that we have to believe the FBI because they said some kid went on the roof with his gun, took it apart, quickly put it in his backpack? When we have everybody looking at so many different angles and it's not making any sense, so we question it. And we're not getting the right answers. We're not getting the answers at all. Mikey McCoy, staying quiet. Very suspicious.
Have him come on a live stream. We would pay for a outside, hold on, I'm talking about the #1 polygraph giver in the United States. Have him sit down and do the preliminary questions. Are you this? Are you wearing this color? And just add him. Look how easy this is. One question. One. Were you involved with Charlie Kirk's assassination? If they pass, she has to pack up the bags and it's over. But if they fail that question, then there's a problem. Hold on, Madden. Like, just get it over with. Ask the question that you want. Because, by the way,
can't get it over with, Vinny, because then there's no watch me on the next episode.
No. Well, that's what I'm saying. You want to squash it? And people always go, lie detector tests aren't accurate. Then why does the FBI use them? Why does the law enforcement use them? Watch the show The First 48. If you want to say, hey, listen, I'm good, take a lie detector test and you pass it like that, they'll let you go.
You know, I noticed, Turning Point USA, they canceled that live feed. What happened to the live feed? They used that thinking that Candace Owens was going to show up in person. They used it. I didn't hear anything online about Turning Points on Monday that was supposed to happen, where, they invited Candace Owens. Candace Owens accepted, and she gave her reasonings why she couldn't be there in person, but she would love to be there via video. It's disgusting to see Erica Kirk right here say all these things and not just call Candace Owens, communicate with her. Hey, Candace, I know you love Charlie. You've had a great friendship relationship even before we met. This is the information I have so far from what happened that day. Please don't disclose it to the American people. All that could have prevented Candace Owens from ever coming online at all and having these episodes and trying to skew it in a way that Candace Owens is just doing this for money. Like, she already had money before Charlie Kirk passed away. People are trying to say, oh, she's getting paid. She's doing this. She's getting paid now because she's trying to figure out what's going on by asking questions. And every time she finds out new information, she updates another video the next day and the next day. I don't find that to be a problem, especially because she has to take care of herself and have security, because she has been speaking on the same type of things Charlie Kirk was saying before he died. It's getting a little ridiculous in hearing anything from Turning Point USA. And, they've tanked. The company has tanked. The Charlie Kirk show was the #1 show when Charlie Kirk was alive. At some point, he was one of the top 10. And now, where is he? The 90th place? In my opinion, Turning Point USA died the moment Charlie Kirk died. That company should have stopped, because there's nobody else on planet Earth can move the company towards the direction the Charlie Kirk way. They have said they left, Charlie left blueprints for the next 10, 15 years for the company. Why didn't he address this? Why don't we have any video evidence proof of, something where he had plans for the future? He said something was going to come up this year. We don't know what it was. We don't know what it is. And at this point, can we really trust other people to carry out what his wishes were in his blueprints, his so-called blueprints for the next 10, 15 years? When just a month before Charlie Kirk died, he sent out a memo to Turning Point USA saying we're going to be doing a Doge audit for Turning Point USA. He wanted to figure out what was going on within his own company just a month before he died. And you know what happened after that? They canceled the Doge audit. Why? These are questions we have to ask. And I really didn't want to say it, but I honestly feel like Erica Kirk is in on something, or she is under duress. Something. There is no reason why she couldn't go straight to Candace Owens to give her the information she knows, so she can be content and not make all these videos, come out on the internet and say all these things, question everything. She's finding credible information. And you know what? A lot of people out there don't know. Candace Owens is not the only one finding this information. There's other journalists online that have connections with people that have worked and are working with Turning Point USA. And they're finding this information directly from these whistleblowers.
Hello and welcome back for another episode of Patriotic Housewife. Today we're going to be looking at some Turning Point former donor relations officer and another employee that do not work there anymore, but they have whistleblown on some of the stuff that's gone on there. So it looks like the first one we're going to jump into is a 4-year TPUSA veteran, former donor relations officer, who completely just went nuclear and like a tearful tell-all video, essentially. She worked directly with the biggest donors, what goes on behind the scenes. she said is absolutely disgusting. The people running Turning Point are the worst of the worst, she says, and it took everything in her not to tell donors to take their money and run. Candace Owens is telling the truth, and she's seen it with her own eyes. So she also said that she's not even a Candace fan, but Candace is right, and she's so proud that she got out, and please stop giving your money to Turning Point. So we are going to go ahead and jump right into this video.
I've tried to record this like 7 times and it's just not working. So I'm just going to say what I have to say. And if it lands in the right hands, whatever. My name is Amanda. I worked for Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk for 4 years. One of those years, I was a donor relations officer in Phoenix, Arizona. And that means is I worked with all the donors within a certain region for all of Turning Point's assets. So Turning Point Action, Turning Point Academy, Turning Point USA, Faith, Blexit, podcasting, everything. When I saw Candace Owens' comment this morning, granted, I am not a Candace Owens fan personally, and that comment, I felt like I had to say something. What I did for Turning Point USA within that department was some of the most, I can't even begin to describe it, because the people that I felt like I was working for were not, they were horrible. I mean,
And she's risking her reputation here saying these things too. A lot of people don't take that into consideration, that she was firsthand there working with the company. And, you know, she's saying horrible, but we need more words. We need more context. What specifically was going on that you found to be so horrible? What your treatment of how they talk to you? Because that doesn't count. We need to know more context of what she means by that.
For her to even come out and talk about this, she's already seen how they've treated Candace Owens and how they're treating other people on the internet. So for her to come out and even discuss this, I applaud her. Thank you for bringing the truth to people, because we can't get it anywhere else. So,
like, it was just some of the worst times ever. And I was working for such an amazing, brilliant idea of an organization, and to see it for what it really was behind the scenes, and what makes it Turning Point, which is money. I mean, I'm sorry, but it is. That's how it works in the nonprofit world. It took me so much towards the end not to tell donors to take their money elsewhere. That is the first time I've said that out loud.
Interesting.
And I'm so proud of myself for being able to come out of that organization and be who I am today. And I hope that all of my amazing, brilliant friends that I know that are still there are able to find their moment to move on. Gosh, the people that are behind it all are just like the worst of the worst. I don't take things personally. This is not a personal vendetta. I just know there are serious backings to whatever her claim is. I've seen it. I know the disgust and the terrible things that go on. So anyway, just leaving this here for people to find and see what they think. But all in all, stop watching the news. Stop paying attention to people who just don't matter in your life. Focus on your family, your friends, your loved ones. Get out of the political world. It's not real. None of it is real. But yeah, love the Lord. Love the Lord.
Okay, this, in my opinion, this is not credible information, and not for me specifically, not for anybody in this country. Listen, I've worked for many companies, and I could say some harsh things about them, but that doesn't mean that it was because they were doing something illegal, or if they were... There has to be a reason on why she felt specifically horrible about who she was working for. this video doesn't say much. I mean, it's not enough to say, oh yeah, Turning Point, they were doing some bad illegal things, or they were going after Charlie, or they were against Charlie a lot. I mean, she didn't say any of that. She just said they're horrible. And at first, when I was about to listen to her speak, I assumed she was going to say the issue of what was going on at Turning Point USA had to do with the donors. But then she said that, she was encouraging donors to stop giving money to Turning Point USA. So that tells me that, okay, so at least she said that. That way we know, we can cross that off. It's not the donors. It's somebody in Turning Point USA that is, I don't know. She's not giving any information from this. So I can't just make something up. But what I do know is that Candace Owens knows people too. And she, especially because she was very close to Charlie Kirk and helped start, Turning Point USA. And I believe runs Blexit. That is part of Turning Point USA. I don't know if they're pushing Candace away from it and making her just get away from it and pointing somebody else for that. I don't know what's going on. But I did not like that Erica Kirk said that, because that was definite shots at Candace Owens. And I believe if she's religious as we all, believe her to say, she should have reached out to Candace personally in private to discuss all these things. And that way it would have been so much different coming out. The things coming from Candace would have been so much different. It would have been so much different. But we are where we're at now, and now the gloves are off. Now we need to know the full truth. And I feel at this point, even if Erica Kirk tells Candace Owens to stop, there's nothing, or there's no reason why there's no reason why Candace Owens would stop now. After discovering so many things, questioning so many people. I mean, she literally has a timeline of exactly what happened that day, and even days prior, months prior, connecting the dots. And, if we have an American citizen in this country that is doing investigative work and then relaying it to the American people, rather than the FBI telling the American people, hey, you guys all got traumatized, right? You guys all saw somebody get killed. But this is all we have right here. And yeah, let's move on with life. Let's talk about something else. Epstein files. Okay, let's go back to that and not give that to the American people. We're lucky to have Candace Owens come out here and at least do some real reporting, some real journalism, some real investigative work to figure out what happened that day, so we can expose these and put them in jail. And I'm sorry to say this, but if it includes Erica Kirk, she needs to start speaking. It's that time now. It's been months. We need answers. The American people want to know the truth. Because if there's enemies and people in Turning Point USA, they need to be exposed. They're using Charlie Kirk's legacy. These are the evil people. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Till next time, peace out, everybody. This one's for Charlie.